Hi, this is Heather Picken, host of the Fearless and Fabulous Female Masterclass. You're going to learn in 90 days or less how to take your business to the next level. You want to go to the next level, you've got to align your mind to your vision and you got to take action. So I want you to take notes, and I also want you to consider to upgrade to the Fearless and Fabulous bundle. What that is experts paid products given to you for only $97. This is important because it's supporting a cause called She Should Run. And that is about getting 250,000 women running for office by 2030. I want you to be a fearless woman. Stand in your power and know what you stand for. I hope you enjoy this masterclass. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another interview on the Fearless and Fabulous Female Entrepreneur Summit. I am so excited and inspired to talk about my next guest, Tracy Repchuck. And I've actually known her for a couple of years, and I want to read her bio because it's pretty impressive. She is a client conversion specialist and 7-time international best-selling author who has helped thousands of successful coaches, speakers, entrepreneurs, and CEOs worldwide increase their visibility and make more money easier. Who doesn't want to do that? You will get seen, heard, and generate new business by getting the marketing system and online presence in place that you need to achieve that. And Tracy has lots of awards. Listen to this. It's pretty impressive. From the Senate, Assembly, White House, and President Obama for her work as a world-renowned speaker in over, wait for it, 39 countries as a trusted TV resource with NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, HGTV, Forbes, USA Today, Washington Post. She provides clarity and structure for online marketing, social media, automation, and branding. Now, what's really interesting about Tracy is that, excuse me, she started her software company, excuse me, at the age of 19, and she's been on the internet since 1994. So she actually has been a pioneer for women, which I absolutely love. And it's so impressive because she has impacted over 40 million people last year with her American Airlines interview, TV and stage appearances, and she's become a global leader for strategic thinking for increased market research. Wow, that's such a mouthful. So Tracy, thank you so much for being my guest on this series.
Thank you so much for having me, Heather. I love when we get together and just kind of continue to empower and make those women fearless.
That's right. Woohoo! And I love this subject, Tracy, because I know you do a lot of marketing and that sort of thing, automation. But what's really important, what we're going to talk about today, is how women get in their own way and really understanding what is that number one barrier to really overcome some of the things that women are facing in their business. And I want to start there because I know your journey, especially as a pioneer in this field, hasn't been easy, right? You had to break through some of those stereotypes. So let's start with your journey and one of the barriers that you had. Let's go back, when you were, I know your story is like you were one of the first female speakers on stage with all of these men talking about online presence and that sort of thing, or in the tech industry. And what was your thought process before that happened to really break through?
It was funny. My thought process was I was at my first event, World Internet Summit. And it was like a 5-day event, and I'm sitting there, and speaker after speaker after speaker is going along, and all of a sudden, it's towards the end of the event, and I realized that every single speaker up there had been a man. And it's called the World Internet Summit. And I'm sitting there thinking, you got to be kidding me. In the entire planet, there's not one other woman capable of being on that stage right now. So I said, that's it. I'm going to be on that stage in under a year. And that was the beginning of my thought process from that point forward. And I'll remark on that is I didn't know how. So you don't have to know the how, okay? And I had no idea how I was going to make that a reality. I just knew that I was going to make that happen.
Mm. I love that, Tracy, because a lot of times I think women get so stuck. We can be more emotional than men, let's face it. And we get
Mhm.
in our own way sometimes. I know I have many times, and we are trying to figure out the how. How is it going to happen? But to me, it's really about taking action. If you have a vision, mission, and purpose, you just keep taking action. And sometimes the action isn't the right action, but it leads you to connect the dots. So let's kind of fast forward. So you were there, you made the decision, step one, right? You
Mhm.
made the decision that you were going to be on stage in 1 year. What was your thought process, let's just say, on a daily basis, and some of the action steps that you were taking, and obstacles that you ran into during that year before it happened?
Okay, so the first thing that occurred as I'm watching this is I knew that I didn't know enough to make that happen. And so I had to seek out a mentor. So I'm at that event and I purchased actually 2 mentors from that. And here's one of the fearless things we'll bring up, right? And that was I had invested $15,000 in this little trip that I had gone to. And of course, 2 things had to happen there. One, I had to come home and tell my husband that I had invested $15,000 in mentors. And then the other thing was I had to recoup that money, right?
Yeah.
We're all kind of operating on credit cards or whatever it is, revolving debt, whatever we want to think of. And I hadn't even begun yet. I had no company, no business. For that particular event, I'd actually flown down from Toronto. It was in Las Vegas, and there it was. I fly home, and I'm like, okay, I got to change all of this. And I started to take a look at the whole landscape at that point, and that was, how am I going to be the speaker on that stage, right? What's going to have to be done to make that a reality? And I identified a couple of things. One was I needed to get out of nobody knowing me, right? So all of a sudden I have to raise my credibility. I have to raise my authority. I have to be seen. And things of all of these elements, right? So I'm keeping that in the back of my mind. At the same time, I'm implementing things that these mentors had told me to do. And I was looking for what's the gap in the industry. And so you kind of mentioned that I had started, at the age of 19 in 1985. And if we go back to how did I even become an entrepreneur, which of course is a massively fearless moment for anybody who's doing this. It started with a teacher pulling me aside just before I was going to graduate as a computer programmer. And he said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "I'm going to be a programmer in Toronto, I guess. That's what we all do, right?" And he said, "No." He said, "You are dynamic. You're a leader." He goes, "People follow you. They listen to you. You are far too, kind of outgoing to be a computer programmer." He goes, "You're an entrepreneur." And I never even heard that word. And so the words he said to me, and that's how I live today, is because I said, "Okay, well, what do you do? How do you become an entrepreneur?" And he said, "You find a gap and you fill it."
Mm.
And at that time, that's exactly what I did. So I'm scouring for the gap. And I realized through that event, everybody was like, "Oh, if you just do eBay, you're going to make millions. Oh, if you just drive traffic to your site, you're going to make millions." And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, that's not possible. There's steps before, there's steps after, there's a sequence, a logical sequence. And so that's where I wrote the book, 31 Days to Millionaire Marketing Miracles. And to fill the gap, because there was no A to Z of internet marketing at that time. And so, again, I invested in a mentor to become, how do you become an Amazon bestseller? Because I can't just have a book. I
Right.
have to get seen. And so I invested in another mentor, and I buy that. And again, this is 2006, pre-social media. The only way you can do it is to have a list. And so that's where I implemented the landing page. And now that's my forte. I build landing pages and email campaign structures to convert. And because if it wasn't for that landing page that I put in place, I never would have become a #1 Amazon bestseller, and the rest wouldn't have happened, because from there people came, they asked me to coach them. I made $100,000 in a few months from the coaching packages that I was selling as a result of people contacting me from the book. And then that's how, there it is. There's the catalyst moment on how I got on that stage.
I love that. And the fact that you mentioned mentors were so, that's such a valuable point, because I think a lot of women think, oh, I have to do it by myself. But when you invest in yourself, you invest in your inspired idea, you actually accelerate the process, because what you're doing is you're taking all of the information with that mentor has, and they're showing you an accelerated path. And you might think, oh, I don't want to invest 15,000 or however much it is, but you have to look, well, what's the drawback out of not doing that? Because then you can't realize your dream. And then you want to have a plan of, like you're saying, recouping your investment. So you think, okay, how many clients or how much business do I have to attract in order to make the $15,000 back? And so if you're looking at that strategically, you could definitely do it. And I feel a lot of women, they don't understand the logistics of that. So therefore, they put it on hold and like, well, I'm going to wait to invest in myself until I have the money. And it's just not true. Like, now is the time, to really get started. So what are some of the other things that women, as women entrepreneurs, they want to get out there, they want to be more visible, but they are holding themselves back? Like, what have you seen personally? I'm sure you've seen women like, wow, they've got a great brand, you've got a great message, but there is something inside of them that is just holding them back. Like, what do you feel it is?
Well, it's so interesting. And I actually, I guess October, I launched a program called Your $1 Million Design, because what I saw was amazing, powerful women out there with no cash. The number of people I was encountering that were like successful, they seemed to have it all, right? Didn't have the income. They were struggling constantly. So what happens when you don't, have the income? You cannot invest in your business. And if you can't invest in your business, you can't grow. You're going to go one of two ways. You're going to drop or you're going to go up. And in order to go up, you're going to have to invest. Again, I've been in business now for 32 years. There's never been another way other than marketing to really get seen and heard and out there. But the good news today is, of course, we don't have to invest, tens of thousands of dollars every month. When I started, I was paying $8,000 a month on Yellow Pages. People think Yellow Pages were the magical answer today as we sit here with all of these options, right? But I can tell you, if you didn't spend 8 to 10 grand a month, you weren't found, period.
Wow.
So the thing I think women don't understand is the money investment and what it's going to take. This isn't a hobby. You might start it as a hobby. Well, then it's going to pay you like a hobby. And if you really want to build a business, you have to start thinking, I'm going to need whatever amount. I had invested $100,000 in myself in the first 5 months of opening that business. I had every credit card maxed because speed is important. Money loves speed.
Yes.
And what women forget about is the opportunity costs that go by every single day that you're putzing around in your office thinking, okay, I'm going to go out, I'm going to network, or I'm going to do this, and still nothing's happening. So I think those are some of the things. But the biggest thing I have seen, and the reason I had actually opened that program, was a lack of focus on what really matters. So everyone's going into the social media, into the this, and into the that, and their days are long, and they're working really hard, and they're doing everything except focusing on what makes the cash register ring. And so it comes down to that. If you don't call somebody, or you don't contact somebody, or you don't attempt to sell your program or services, then it's not going to magically happen.
Yeah, it's so true about the investment part and realizing you've got I like that soundbite, money loves speed. It's so true. I can look at every time I've invested in myself, and some things didn't pay off, but for the most part, a lot of them did. And I found even the ones that didn't pay off, I found my next step to the solution I was looking for that did accelerate my path. So, for women, let's just say they've invested in themselves again or before and it didn't work out. I think it's important not to discourage you to say, not to do it, right? So how does failure play into the formula in being a successful female entrepreneur?
I think one thing to realize is failure is inevitable.
Yes.
period. You know, we are not going to have this magical yellow brick road, even with mentors. Okay.
True.
Again, I have had a mentor from day one in this industry, and I continue to have mentors. I spend a fortune on other people because there's always somebody ahead of me to where I want to go. So again, why spend all of this time attempting to reverse engineer or watch quietly and see if I can figure out what they're doing, or I'll be ready one day for that. No, you're ready the day you say I'm opening up a business, and you need to run and get there, because it's like rocket fuel. Until, you know, everyone wants this coasting lifestyle and the freedom lifestyle. You can't get that until you put that rocket fuel in, and now you're going in orbit. That's the time you get to chill and coast. And not enough women, in particularly, are making it out into orbit, and because of the thrust it takes to get you there, and the effort and the time,
Right.
and all of that. And so what happens is you're focusing your time on kind of the wrong things, and that's again where a coach comes into play for sure. And so you are going to invest in either programs, people, things that don't pan out the way you think they're going to. But here's the thing: you bought for a reason, and there's a nugget in there that you needed in order to, as Heather has already said here, you can't see the next step until you move slightly to the right or forward or whatever, right? And you can't see that vision from where you are. And so you need to move forward. And maybe that's all it was, is a move forward step. To where now you find that perfect person per se, and you're like, oh, I wish I didn't spend that money. Don't worry about it, okay? It's called marketing, and it's called investing. It's okay. You don't lose anything in the money that you invest in yourself. You gained knowledge somewhere. Even if that gained knowledge is, next time I'll vet them better, next time I'll do a reference call. It doesn't matter. There's a nugget in there that you needed, because down the line, 5 years, 10 years, 15, again, I've got a third tier track here that we're working on. You will realize what that nugget meant to you, especially when you're growing bigger. And those little nuggets that you learned back here, which felt like very expensive lessons, would be 100 grand lessons as you move forward. And then instead they were 10 grand. So don't get stuck, fixated, feel ripped off, burned, you know, any of these things. And then say to yourself, I'm not going to spend that money ever again. Or I'm not going to invest, or, you know, whatever. No. Business needs money and fuel. And so you're constantly needing to just get out of your own way.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, Tracy. And it is having, it's having that right money mindset, and realizing, like, to me, I look at money as energy, and it's not about focusing on the loss, but seeing where that information or that money is transformed in a different way, because you manage to gather it intellectually. Now you can take whatever you want and use it maybe in the future, but it hasn't been lost. So I always believe, like, if we're looking at it from a physics level, like, nothing has been lost. It's just transformed in a different way. The question is, are you looking at it and being able to, go through that, breaking through those different layers. So let's talk about, what is it that you think, as being an entrepreneur, being in the internet space, being a pioneer as a woman, what we need in order to, get out of the survival mode, or really be able to thrive as entrepreneurs in this time and age right now?
Okay, so the first thing you want to do is really get the belief in yourself and your idea, and let no one shake you from it. That has to be at your core. That's why your mission, your vision, and purpose often have to be bigger than yourself, or else you're going to get stuck on the minutia of something that has no bigger relevance, or you're going to let an obstacle and a barrier stop you. And so, there's a reason why most people have that kind of, you're 3 feet from the gold, right? Because we pickaxe for so long, and then we like, oh, I can't do this anymore. You got to keep pickaxing, and that's why it's got to be very important to you. So that's one of the things, is perseverance under all circumstances. And again, don't think I haven't had a trillion setbacks in the history of my company. and things of that nature, especially when I was in the software industry and I was, again, a sole woman in an aggressive software industry. And so that's one of the biggest things. And then the other thing is you really just have to understand that you have to constantly be moving and investing in yourself to a point where, in order to grow, now you have to bring on more people. If you are a solopreneur forever, you're going to get caught being the cook, bottle washer, dishwasher, all of it, and you can't. Your focus has to be on only what you can do, and you have to start to fill those lower positions on with people that can get those jobs done, so that you can do what you need to do, or you'll never grow.
I love that. No, I love that. But building team, I absolutely applaud, your answer around that, because I think too, women think, oh, especially if you have kids, I've got to do everything. It's like, no, you don't have to do everything. Let go of that, find other people, line your mindset to it, and it will happen. I'm so certain of it. So I love that. I love this conversation that we're having. And I know we're almost out of time here, so I kind of want to wrap things up. One of my questions I wanted to ask you, so let's just say woman's watching this right now. She knows she's in her own way. What can she do, let's just say 30, 60, 90 days in order to, get out of her own way and start taking action, start bringing in more clients? What would you suggest?
My biggest suggestion is going to be find someone, a mentor.
Yes.
That's at a position of where you are. And I know that seems to be a common thread. And here's the reason why. You can't read the label from inside the jar. You've gotten yourself as far as you possibly can in most situations. And so you just need somebody to see you from a very different viewpoint. Every single client I get, they have no idea how amazing they are, or what they're worth, quite frankly, right? And it takes somebody to pull that out of you and to give you the confidence and be on your team to a point where you feel strong enough to move out of your own way and keep kind of that forward momentum going.
I love it, Tracy. So important. Yes. Really bottom line, get a mentor, hire someone. You'll get there faster than you ever imagined. And I know that because I've hired mentors and coaches. So it is valuable. Tracy, thank you so much for being my guest. And before we go today, I know you've got a free gift. So can you share a little bit about that? And the link is right below this video.
Yeah, it's kind of how to double your income in 3 simple steps, because I need you to be making more money so that you can move forward and be part of the global movement that we have for women helping to change the world.
Awesome. And women are changing the world. I will affirm that. We are. We're amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy, for being my guest and being a pioneer for women online. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Heather.
Until next time, this is Heather Picken. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. So I hope you enjoyed this masterclass. Now, my question for you is, what are you going to do in the next 90 days? I want you to take action that is aligned with your ambitious goal. When I work with clients, I actually show them how to change the neuroplasticity of their brain. And part of the process is really understanding, what goal, what action that I want to take is actually in alignment with my vision and mission and purpose. So you want to make sure that you have that. My other ask is to consider doing the Fearless and Fabulous Female Bundle. That is an upgrade, and it's $97. It runs throughout the summit. The reason why that's important is, number one, it's going to accelerate the rate in which you start attracting your success with some of the strategies that these experts are offering you. Number two, it's actually going to support a cause called She Should Run. As I mentioned earlier, it's about getting 250,000 women running for office by 2030. As women, we are so powerful. And I believe we're really living in an interesting time that we can change the world with our work. So again, I hope you consider the Fearless and Fabulous bundle, and I want you to take action, okay? I'm going to be checking up on you.